Software developer Propellerheads introduces a new way to use the Reason workflow in iOS. Korg introduces the latest in their Electribe line, this time in a software form. And Touchtable updates their app for Ableton Live with even more crazy new features. Find out more coming up. Thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. Now let's get into the video. So Propellerheads recently announced Reason Compact. Now this is less of a stripped down version of Reason for iOS, and you could think of it more like a synth using Reason technology that can link up with Reason on your computer when time comes from moving from your iPhone to getting to your laptop or computer and when you're getting into the studio. Now it has some pretty cool features such as easy access to chords and a smart keyboard where you don't have to worry about hitting the wrong notes when selecting the key that you want to play in. What's really cool is that this app is free, so if you want to go ahead and just start mingling around in Reason Compact, you can do it without having to put down a single penny. But if you want access to more controls and more sounds, there is some upgrades if you want to buy different packs and access to different features that will cost you. But at least at the base level, you do get access to the software for free and at least get a feel if this is something that you want to invest in. Now, if you're a Reason user and you find yourself on the go and you want to get some ideas jotted down, this kind of makes sense because you can get some ideas started on this app with the synth, and then once you get to your home computer or your laptop, you can go ahead and flesh those ideas out in the bigger main Reason software. At this point, the Korg Electribe line is pretty much legendary. From the different hardware boxes to software iterations in the past, Korg has now just recently announced the latest version called Electribe Wave. Now, instead of emulating old Electribes of the past, such as their old Electribe iOS software, this one looks like it's kind of built from the ground up specifically for the iPad. So the way it controls and the way it looks and the way things are laid out doesn't really kind of emulate the old pieces of hardware and makes so much more sense for using it with a touch device such as an iPad. Now this thing has a really cool, powerful wavetable synth as well as access to a drum machine and a really nice sequencer on it. So if you are familiar with the Electribe workflow and something that you love and enjoy it, I mean, I had an Electribe 2 for a while and it was so much fun to play on the thing. I love the fact that it was portable and battery powered. I could take it wherever I wanted to go and get some, sketches laid out or some beats laid out whenever I felt like it. And having that kind of power in an iPad app that makes so much more sense than their old, apps, because I had those apps as well and I really didn't like them. Previously, in old versions of iOS music apps, you saw a lot of them kind of mimicking the hardware look and feel, and it just didn't really work out because the controls just didn't make sense. But this one definitely makes a lot more sense. It looks like they took design cues from things such as their Gadget app, which was developed for those kind of touch controls, and kind of implemented it into the actual Electribe workflow. And all in all, it just looks like a way better experience for an Electribe user when using it with an iPad. Now, this piece of software does cost $19.99, and it's not as expensive as something like Korg Gadget, and at $20, now it sits in that middle ground of an app where it's not as expensive as something like Korg Gadget, but $20 is a lot for a music app. But for all the power you get out of it, I'd highly recommend Electribe Wave. And finally, if you're an Ableton user and you own an iPad, chances are you've at least heard, if not used, the Touchtable software in the past. Touchtable is a way to use your iPad as kind of like a controller for Ableton Live. You get a lot of features, from launching clips to a lot of the features that were available on the Ableton Push to using it as a mixer control. And now Touchtable has updated the app once again to what they're calling Touchtable Pro. Now this update looks awesome. You get way more control than you had in the past, including things such as being able to see the waveforms on the actual iPad itself. So say you're chopping a sample, you don't have to look at your computer. You can just kind of use your iPad as a separate, piece of gear, like a separate instrument, much like you would use an Ableton Push, and kind of get in there and get those chops right, zoom in and zoom out. And that touch functionality is really cool in my opinion. It gives a different way of working with Ableton. Some people like the tactile controls of buttons and knobs, but some people like the ability to just pinch and zoom and get chops right and get them in there. And maybe even a combination of the two could be something that's even the next level, and even being able to use the two simultaneously might be able to give you the best of both worlds. Now, as a former Touchtable user, I'm really amped to see that Touchtable is still pushing they're technology forward and developing their software for the new, things that are available in the software update that Ableton Live 10 gave us. So if you're a Touchtable user and you love that software and you haven't updated, I definitely highly recommend that you update. Or if you haven't tried Touchtable yet and you're looking for a new way to work with Ableton Live, you should definitely give it a look. It is, it's not a free piece of software. It does cost a little bit of money, but it's worth every penny in my opinion and from my experience. So that's it for the news this week. So question of the day, do you make music on your mobile device such as your phone or tablet? And if so, what do you use to make that music? Go and leave that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, if you found this video useful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click right here to subscribe to this channel. Or if you'd like to watch more content, go ahead and click on that video right there. And thank you for watching PDot TV, where you'll find tips, tricks, and tutorials for DJs and music performers. See you next time.